tennis, and swims. Okay, so we also have this one, Masamu. So we have 3 children. Okay, so Masamu. So this is the first set. Okay, now the second set, that will be for the sports. Okay, so we have what? So Mwansa plays soccer and swims. So we can start with the soccer. Then there is swimming. Then Nandi plays tennis and netball. So there is tennis, netball. Okay. Then Masamu plays tennis and swims. So Masamu, that is tennis and swimming. So here we can do like this. So we can say tennis. Then we have netball like this. Okay. So from the first set we have Mwansa, Nandi, and Masamu. Then from the second set we have soccer, swimming, tennis, and also netball. Now you go back to the question. Mwansa plays soccer and swims. So this Mwansa is connected to, we have soccer and swimming. Okay. Then Nandi plays tennis and netball. So this Nandi here plays tennis and netball like this. Okay. Then Masamu plays tennis and swimming. So for Masamu, that is swimming and tennis. So this one will go with this, and also this one here. Okay. So here we have shown that from the first set we have 3 children, and from the second set we have 4 types of different sports. That is soccer, swimming, tennis, and netball. Okay. Now the question is, what is the relationship between the children and the sport that they play? So you look at the matching here. Okay. So you should tell, is this type of relationship a one-to-one type of relationship, a one-to-many, a man-to-one, or a man-to-many type of relationship? Okay. So let's start first by looking at Mwansa. Mwansa likes or plays soccer and swimming. Okay. So for Mwansa alone here, that is a one-to-many type of relationship. Okay. Let's go to Nandi. Nandi, that is tennis and netball. So for Nandi alone, that is a one-to-many type of relation. Okay. Now for Masamu alone, that is a one type of set. So that is Mwansa. For soccer, sorry. So that is Mwansa only for soccer. What about for swimming? So for swimming we have Mwansa and Masamu. So we have main elements from one set connected to one element from the second set. Okay. What about tennis? Tennis, we have Nandi and Masamu. So main element from one set connected to one element from the second set. Okay. What about netball? So netball only have Nandi. Now let's look at this from the other side. So let's start with the Masamu. So we have more than one element from the second set connected to one element from the first set. So that is swimming and the netball connected to Masamu here. Okay. So this type of relationship, we have it connected to one element from the first set. So this type of relationship is a many to many. For the netball, Masamu plays tennis and swimming, and also, okay, so you have the first set and you have the second set. So that is the example. Okay, let's just look. Here you should decide whether the following relation is a 1 to 1, 1 to many, okay, then to many relation. Okay, so we decide have A. So in A we have 3 and 5. Okay, so that is 3 and 5, and from the second set we have 6, 9, 10, 12 and 15. Okay, so 3, okay, then this one goes with 10 and also 15. Okay, then from B we have 16, 17, 18 and 19, like this. Okay, then from the second set we have even and odd, so 16 and 18, 17 and 19. Okay, so in this one we are saying that we decide whether this type of relationship is a 1 to 1 or a 1 to many or a many to 1 or a many to many type of relation. So let's look at A. So for A we have 3 and 5 from the first set. Now from the second set we have 6, 9, 10, 12 and 15. So let's look at 3. So 3 is connected to 6, 9, 12 and 15. So for 3 alone here, that is a 1 to many type of relationship. Okay, then we go to 5. 5 connected to 10 and 15. So for 5 alone, that is a 1 to many type of relationship. Okay, now let's go to the next. So let's start with the second set. So for the second set, what do we have? So we have 10 and 15 connected to this. Okay, so for this type of relation here, we can say we have this 15 here. This 15 is connected to 2 elements from the first set here. Now, since we have 1 element from the second set connected to more than 1 element from the first set connected to 1 element from the second set, so this type of relationship here, so we are saying that this type of relationship is a many to many relation. So 1 element connected to many elements, and we have many elements from this set connected to 1 element from the first set. So this type of relationship is a man-to-man type of relationship. Okay, let's go to B. B, we have 16 and 18 connected to the word even, and we have 17 and 19 connected to the word odd. Okay, so the word odd, more than 1 element from the first set connected to 1 element from the second set. So this type of relationship is a many to 1 relation. So we have 2 elements from the first set connected to 1, and for odd we have 2 elements from the first set connected to the word odd. So main element to 1. So that is a many to 1 relation. So the first one is a many to many, then the second one, that is a many to 1 type of relationship. Okay, so these are the examples which I had for you. Now let me just give you something so that you can solve homework. So you should try the following questions. So question 1, Helen likes bananas. Pule likes oranges. And apples. Then Mavuto likes mangoes. Okay, so what type of relationship? What is the relationship between the children and the fruit that they like? Okay, now the last question. So consider decide whether it is a 1-to-1, one-to-many, or a many-to-many relation. Okay, so we have even, odd. So we have 20, 21, 22, and 23. So this. Okay, so these are the two questions for you as homework. So for the first one, we are saying that Helen likes bananas, Pule likes oranges and apples, Mavuto likes they like. Now in question 2, so we have this type of relationship here. So you should decide whether this type of relationship is a one-to-many, a one-to-one type of relation, or it is a many-to-one, or it is a many-to-many type of relationship. So these are the two questions which I have for you as homework. Okay. Let me just check if there is any concern or any text for me. Okay, unfortunately there is no text or there is no question. Okay, so like I said, these are the two questions which I have for you as homework. So today we are looking at the two types of relationship which we remained with last time. That is a man-to-one type of relationship and also a man-to-many type of relationship. Okay, now for a man-to-one, we said that we can have more elements or more than one element from the first set connected to only one element from the second set. Now for the man-to-man type of relationship, so for a man-to-many, we have said that we can have one element from the first set connected to more than one element from the second set, and also one element from the second set connected to more than one element from the first. I've been your teacher, Mrs. Chizia Pius. Have a good day and stay tuned.
My name is Kapiri. I graduated. We was the moral standing, that was one, and two, how serious our teachers were related as a program quality intern rather. What I'm developing as a leader, because while I was at the University of Zambia, I emerged as the chairperson, one of the youngest chairpersons at the University of Zambia Response Program. Also at this, I held a position as a hospitality secretary for 2 years straight. That I can proudly say from we learned to be a good leader. I would urge all the parents out there to bring all your girls to Mubuyo. My name is Chatimu Kapiri. I graduated from Mubuyu Christian Academy. I went there when I was in grade 9 in 2008.
Welcome to the grade 8 class. Today we're going to learn the subject of business studies. So a recap of what we did last time. Was on office etiquettes. We talked about the etiquettes that need to be carried out in an office. We also mentioned a number of them and we explained them. So today we're going to look at stationery. So many people ask what stationery is. So stationery are consumable items that are used in offices to carry out clerical work. In this case, our topic today is on office stationery. So when we hear the term stationery, we are simply talking about pens, rulers, papers, rubbers, staplers, and everything else. So these small items that help us run or carry out our paperwork in an office are what we call office stationery. So these are items used to carry out office duties or clerical work. Every office or organization always has stationery to be used. To print out documents, you need stationery. To print out or to prepare work, or maybe rotas, duties, everything has to be printed. More items that are consumable in the office to carry out paperwork are known as stationery. So let's look at a few of these stationeries. We have paper. We have correction liquid. We have correction liquid. We have carbon paper. We have envelopes. We also have pens and pencils. We have rulers. We have erasers. And the list goes on. The list carries on. to what kind of stationery that is used in the office. So we're going to look at just a few for today. We'll look at paper. So paper is a kind of stationery that we use for typing, printing, photocopying, duplicating. So the paper is used in so many things. And the paper comes in two types, in two series. We have the A series, commonly used in offices is the A series. So the A series ranges from A0 to A12. So that's how the A series ranges from. So each paper is twice bigger than the previous one. So the commonly used paper normally is the A4. So the A5 is twice bigger than the A4. This one becomes the A3. If we divide this 3 in the middle, this one becomes the A2. If we divide this one in the middle, this one becomes the A1. So it keeps going and going smaller and going smaller and going smaller. So that's how we see how the A's are commonly used. So as I said, according to the A series, this is the A4. According to the A series, the previous paper is twice bigger than the next one. So that's how the A series works. So under the paper, we've got 3 types of papers. We have bond paper, we have flimsy, and we have the duplicating. So this paper have their own specific types of how they work. Okay, so if we look at the bond paper, this one is used for typing and also used for printing. The bond paper is used for typing, printing, and any other use. And then we have the flimsy paper, and we have the duplicating paper. This one is used in a duplicating machine to produce a number of copies from the original copy. So that's the use of the duplicating. The duplicating comes with semi-absorbent and non-semi-absorbent. So this is how the paper is divided and looked into as we stipulate it and break it down into these kinds of papers. So paper does not only appear like a plain paper like this, no. So there are a number of plain papers, of papers, okay? So unlike this one, it's different from all these other papers. If you look at your NRC paper, that transparent paper is known as the flimsy paper. And then we can look now at the carbon paper. We can look at So a carbon paper is a thin paper with a mixture of wax and dye. It is mostly placed between 2 papers to produce a duplicate information of the original document. It is mostly used in receipts or invoice books. But nowadays, as technology improves, there are some papers that have been coated carbonly, so there's no need for carbon paper. I wish I had an example of one. I would have shown you, but I think we are all aware of how a carbon paper looks. Sometimes it's mostly dark blue. It is shaded blue. So it is a mixture of wax and dye. It is placed in between books so that the moment someone is writing, the information being written from the original paper is automatically written on the other paper below the carbon paper. So is a thin paper and very delicate, and very delicate, which is a mixture of wax and dye. So that's what a carbon paper is. We move to another kind of stationery, correction fluid. So most oftentimes when people create information or record or maybe write up something and they make a mistake with a pen, they cross it over or rub it. So to avoid that dirt in your documents, we advise that you use correction of fluid. Most people call it Tipex. Okay, if you've heard of the term Tipex, that's what we mean. You can use the correction of fluid. It is a white color fluid that you use to rub upon the mistake you have made, allow it to dry, then you can write something on top of that Tipex. So that's one of the stationery that are found in the offices. And then we also have envelopes. You also have envelopes. So there are a number of envelopes that we use. So envelopes are used to cover up letters, parcels, and documents that might be needed to be covered or maybe used to send from the next person to the other. So these have got different types of, the office has got different types of envelopes. Okay, so every envelope with the way it is used. Envelopes, there are a number of envelopes that are found in an office or in not maybe even in an office, but even in a working environment. So if we look at them and say them out, if we say pencils and pens, pencils and pens. People might say the computers have replaced pencils and pens. No. To today, these stationaries are very much important in every working stationery, which they are very, very important to the office. So then we have paper clips. So paper clips are used, a small wire foam like, used to hold papers temporarily, and a small volume of paper is what a paper clip uses to hold. But if you have a large number of papers, we use the bulldog clips. They are quite big and have a clipping, more like a clipping that you have to open them and attach your papers together. So clips are only used to hold papers together temporarily. If you want to combine your papers for a very long time, we advise you use a stapler. Forward, we are going to look at office equipment. As we meet next time, we are going to look at office equipment. So the topic for office stationery is quite short, and these are a few of the stationeries that I have mentioned and explained. And then the next time when we meet, we are going to look at office equipment. So office equipments work hand in hand with office stationery. They are also part of office stationery, except the equipments, because they play bigger roles. Okay, they do some. We have the photocopy machines, we have the shredders, we have the scissors, We have the photocopying machines, we have the shredders, we have the scissors, we have printers, we have scanners, we have fax machines, we have computers, we have telephones, and the list goes on. So office stationery and office equipment are one and the same things, but their functions differ from afar. So this is where we'll end. When we come back next time, we are going to look at each of these office equipments and their functions. So if there are any questions that are to coming, I can get them now. Okay, I don't seem to receive any questions. So with you here has been Madam Mudenda. So we come to the end of our very short session today. See you next time.
Good afternoon. I'm Ms. Munsanje, taking you in civics, grade 8. So today we are going to look at electoral process. But before we look at that, we are going to go through what we looked at last time. Last time we were talking about elections, and we said an election is a form of decision office. Okay, and we said there are 3 types of elections, which are primary, where political parties choose the candidates to stand in general elections, and the second one, general elections, which is also called tripartite elections, where 3 types of elections take place at the same time: the presidential, parliamentary elections to choose the ward councillors and also the mayors. And the last type of elections we looked at is by-elections. By-elections, we say these are held when a councillor, mayor, or MP dies, expelled from the party, or resigns, or imprisoned for more than 6 months. And for the president, and under this one, under the vice president automatically assumes the presidency, unlike when the Constitution demanded holding of presidential by-elections within 90 days. So for the president, we are saying the vice president was previously appointed by the president before the amendment of the constitution in 2016. So every presidential candidate picks a running mate for vice president, and the two will share the vote, meaning voting for a president is an automatic vote for the vice president. Okay, and today we are going to look at the electoral process. The electoral process. Okay, so in order for the elections to take place fairly and in accordance with the constitution, various steps in the electoral process must be followed. So we are going to look at the electoral process, some of the stages that must be followed. Okay, so we'll start with delimitation. We'll start with delimitation. Delimitation. Okay, what do we mean when we say delimitation? Okay, so here we are saying delimitation is the process of dividing the country into constituencies, wards, and polling districts. Delimitation or demarcating new areas. So, for example, in Zambia, we have 156 constituencies. So the country was divided or is divided into constituencies. Okay. The second, so these are the stages in the electoral process. The second stage okay, let me write something on. So delimitation, process of dividing. So this is the process of dividing the country into constituencies, wards, or polling stations. So constituencies, wards, and polling districts. Polling districts. Okay, and polling, so and polling districts. The second stage, voter registration. Voter registration. Okay, what takes place at this stage? Voter registration. So here, all citizens wishing to exercise their right to vote are registered as voters. All citizens wishing to exercise their right to vote are registered as voters. In Zambia, for example, in Zambia, for one to be registered as a voter, that person must be 18 years and above and in possession of an NRS, a green registration card. A green registration card. Okay, we go to the next stage. The next stage is Nomination. Okay, nomination. So under this stage, the nomination process starts with each polling candidates for the vacant positions. So the political parties forward the names of elected candidates to the Electoral Commission of Zambia. So at this stage, the elected candidates of different political parties, the names of elected candidates of different political parties are taken to the Electoral Commission of Zambia. Okay. The next stage, election campaigns. Election campaigns. The election campaigns. Okay, what happens at this stage? Election campaigns. So here we are saying elected officials from various political parties go back to the voters at prescribed intervals to seek their mandate. In short, here we are saying they go back to the voters to persuade the voters so that they can vote for them. Okay. So campaign is an attempt by political parties to influence the voters to vote for them, and they are not allowed during the voting day. So our campaigns end a day before, 18 hours a day before the election day. Okay. And here we are saying they begin a day after nomination. The campaigns begin a day after election, after nomination, and ends a day before elections. And voting starts at 06 hours and ends at 18 hours. Rallies, that is addressing large gatherings. Okay, and also giving out materials, for example, t-shirts, caps, shtenges, all those. Okay, all those are used to campaign, during the campaign, so that voters or the citizens can vote for these political parties. Okay, voting after campaigns. Voting. So voting is the actual casting of the ballot. The actual casting of the ballot. It is done on the election day at a polling station through a secret ballot, and one has to carry a voter's card. So this voting. So election day is also called voting day, polling day. So on this day, people go to different political polling stations. They go to different polling stations to choose or to vote the candidates of their choice. So on this day, people who are eligible to vote, those who are 18 years and above, go to vote, and they carry with them the documents. The documents they use to vote are the voter's card and the green registration card, NRC. Without these two documents, the voter's card and the green registration card, a person cannot be allowed to vote. Okay. The next stage, counting the results at the polling station. Counting results at the polling station. Okay. At different polling stations. So the results are counted by the presiding officer and the assistants at the polling station in the presence of political party agents, monitors, and also observers. Okay, so when the results are being counted at different polling stations, they are counted in the presence of the monitors, political party agents, observers, and after counting, the results are taken to the central place. Okay, after counting the results at different political polling stations, the results are then taken to the central place in the constituencies where the final results are announced. Okay, for presidential election, results are sent from the central place centers to the Electoral Commission of Zambia headquarters. They are then transferred to the election results center where the final results are announced by the Electoral Commission of Zambia. Okay. Okay, there's a question here. What about this voting? You can repeat the question again. I not get. What about that voting is for? It's okay. We go to the last stage, which is declaring a winner. Declaring a winner. Okay. So the last stage is declaring a winner after all the votes have been counted. Okay. So this is when declaring a winner, this is when the returning officer adds the results from all the polling stations, and these results are announced. They are announced at the center, the operations center, starting from the lowest to the highest votes. So when all the results are lowest, starting from the lowest to the highest. Okay. So for today we'll end here unless there are questions. Okay, there are no questions. Next time when we meet, we are going to look at the functions of the Electoral Commission of Zambia. The functions of the Electoral Commission of Zambia. See you next time.
Zambia. I emerged as the chairperson, one of the youngest chairperson at the University of Zambia Response Program. Also at ZAFES, I held a position as a hospitality secretary for 2 years straight. That I can proudly say from where I started just as a head girl, a deputy head girl, to today I can still stand and proudly say that from experience I had at Muwuyo, I've learned to be a good leader. I urge all the parents out there to bring all your girls to Muwuyo. It's a very good environment. One, they'll develop spiritually, emotionally. If you have any